10 car brands collapsing by 2026. Taken together, this has led to a blossoming of new car companies that have, in many cases, been quickly felled by the realities of the razor-thin margins and substantial established competition. For every Tesla success story, there are a half-dozen failed attempts to replicate it, and another, equally large cohort of companies frantically scrambling to stay in business on borrowed time. These are our picks of the most prominent attempts to try and fail to make the electric car equivalent of fetch happen, broken down by how far along the inevitable slide into financial ruin they happen to find themselves. Here is the list. Number 10, Canoo. What was it? The brainchild of a former BMW executive and a Deutsche Bank CFO who both bounced off another failing company, Faraday Future, with the dream of selling corporate America fleets of commercial EVs. What did it build? Vans. So many vans. Canoo was bullish on a future where rounded, aero-friendly cargo carriers ruled the roads, making deliveries and pickups, and also briefly explored the idea of sending some of those haulers to private owners in the form of overlanding-friendly camper conversions. Why did it fail? The original plan was for Canoo to sell its lifestyle vehicle EV as a subscription service. When that didn't work, it pivoted to cargo vans. When that didn't work, Canoo was in big trouble. It didn't help that the company only produced a handful of functional vehicles over a nearly 8-year period, making it difficult to capitalize on the supplier contracts it had signed. When partnerships with both NASA and Hyundai can't save your company, it's time to pull the plug, which Canoo did in 2025 via Chapter 7 bankruptcy. Number 9, Lordstown Motors. What was it? Named after a former General Motors plant that it purchased, Lordstown sought to corner the EV pickup market with a proprietary full-size design. What did it build? The Lordstown Endurance arrived in 2022, after 5 years of development. Based on a design called the Workhorse W15, which was purchased from Lordstown CEO's former company, Workhorse Group, fewer than 50 examples of the all-wheel drive pickup were eventually built. Why did it fail? Production of its only product was originally delayed by the COVID-19 pandemic, then general disinterest in the truck from customers willing to put down deposits. Follow that up with corporate intrigue, which saw the CEO and CFO leave the company in disgrace after revelations that there was no money left in the kitty to start stamping out metal. A disastrous deal with Foxconn Technology to buy the Lordstown plant and subcontract endurance production led to a lawsuit between the two companies, bankruptcy, and an investigation by the Securities and Exchange Commission into Lordstown misleading its stockholders about its chances for success. Sound familiar? Number 8, Bollinger Motors. What is it? An electric truck manufacturer that has been in business off and on since 2014. What does it build? Bollinger aimed directly at off-road enthusiasts by copying, borrowing the right angles of the traditional Land Rover Defender for the B1 SUV. The B2 pickup features the same resemblance with an open cargo bed. Both trucks lean into a just the basics vibe, but each has yet to leave the prototype phase nearly 8 years after they were first presented to the public. Why is it doomed? Delaying your product nearly a decade with no external revenue to speak of is rarely a formula for success. The company went completely broke this past year, but is still limping forward on the promise of eventually delivering Class 4 commercial trucks. The company's former CEO and founder is suing the company for lack of payment on several loans and credit cards it took out in his name, which is rarely a good look. Number 7, Aptera Motors. What is it? Aptera Motors is convinced the world wants a 3-wheeled car, especially if it's electric, tiny, and exists only in the minds of its executive suite. What does it build? Currently nothing, but that's familiar territory for the Aptera team, which has been trying to get the three-wheeler off the ground since, check notes, 2006. Why is it doomed? Delaying your product nearly a decade with no external revenue to speak of is rarely a formula for success. The company has already gone bankrupt once, all the way back in 2011, and relaunched twice, and its most recent pivot to solar-powered EVs hasn't helped it gain any traction. Every year sees the announcement of a new on-sale date and a fresh round of funding, but the market for actual three-wheeled Aptera automobiles remains stuck at zero. Number 6. Faraday Future. What is it? A joint effort between Chinese and American industrial concerns to produce high-end electric vehicles. What does it build? Faraday actually has a product, the FF91, that it has been building in fits and starts since 2023, nearly a decade since the company was founded. Only a handful of automobiles, 16 in total, have actually been delivered to customers, despite well over $1 billion of investment. Why is it doomed? Burning billions is rough on any company, but Faraday in particular has also had to deal with behind-the-scenes chaos that saw its CEO file for personal bankruptcy and its eviction from its corporate headquarters in Gardena, California. Throw in the fact that it is apparently moving away from its own designs to sell Chinese market vans with LCD screens for grills, and it's hard to understand how Faraday has much of a future. Number 5. VinFast. What is it? The automotive arm of one of Vietnam's largest business concerns. What does it build? VinFast has a respectably diverse lineup of electric vehicles, including two, the VF7 and the VF9, that are sold in North America. Why is it doomed? Well, the VF7 and VF9 are indeed available in the United States and Canada. They are far from competitive in terms of build quality, reliability, or performance. Selling solely on cheap pricing well over a year into the launch, VinFast is now facing extreme tariff-related headaches if it continues to export to the US. The path forward for the automaker doesn't look good on this side of the Pacific, but it might be able to retreat to its home market and lick its wounds until the economic roil settles. Number 4. Jaguar. What is it? Once the builder of exciting and gorgeous internal combustion cars, with a history dating back more than 100 years, Jaguar is now trapped in an EV-focused limbo. What is it trying to build? It's not entirely clear. Jaguar is still selling leftover 2024 internal combustion inventory and has shown off a number of polarizing, very high-end EV concept vehicles, but production plans have yet to be announced. What are its chances? Jaguar's own managing director has stated the brand expects to lose 85% of its current ownership base as a result of moving entirely into a battery-powered future. For an automaker that was already struggling, that could very well be a death knell. Number 3. Lotus. What is it? Longtime British sports car brand, now under Chinese ownership. What is it trying to build? Founder Colin Chapman's famous credo to simplify and add lightness has long guided Lotus cars, but that edict faced serious challenges when parsing the heavy batteries associated with electric vehicles. This is one factor in the company's decision to move away from pure EVs and instead squeeze more life out of internal combustion engines through hybrid designs, a choice that effectively orphans the Electre EV SUV currently on the market, as well as the iVia EV supercar. What are its chances? Lotus has always been a boutique automaker, which could help it stay afloat even if sales are modest. Development costs for hybrid models aren't cheap, and the now abandoned EV investment no doubt looms large on the company's ledger. Number 2. Maserati. What is it? A luxury brand that leans on Ferrari drivetrains and gorgeous sheet metal to stay prominent in the minds of well-heeled buyers. What is it trying to build? Maserati announced it will go all-electric by 2028. Currently, it has precisely 0 electrified offerings for sale, missing a self-imposed deadline to have at least a few battery-assisted models in the lineup by 2025. Corporate overlord Stellantis has walked away from major investment in Maserati, which makes it unlikely that electrification will proceed on a reasonable timeline. The company could survive as a niche brand selling small batch supercars, but its best chances to embrace EVs would be a sale to another company looking to leverage the badge for its existing hardware. Number 1. Fisker. The Ocean SUV is the only car from Fisker currently in production. What was it? Henrik Fisker has parlayed his successful career as an automotive designer, responsible in part for the BMW Z8, BMW X5, and Aston Martin DB9, into a decidedly downward spiral of successive startups. The latest failed effort was simply titled Fisker, with a focus on luxury EVs. What did it build? The Fisker Ocean, a high-end sport utility vehicle that actually made it into the hands of customers shortly before Fisker once again followed his standard Chapter 11 playbook. Why did it fail? Allegations swirl that Fisker knew its finances were in the toilet for many months prior to letting shareholders in on the hard facts. Lawsuits targeting Henrik himself, along with other executives, are currently in progress, and the 11th-hour failure to court Nissan as a potential corporate guarantor couldn't save the company, which was bleeding cash. The $1 billion that Fisker raised in investment capital simply wasn't enough to keep it afloat in the face of manufacturing problems and slowdowns, and serves as a strong indicator of how hard it is to survive as an EV builder.